universe is playing a courtesy call. I have just had it with natural phenomena. They never know when to draw the line. At least you can say this for people. We know where to draw the line. And we are natural phenomenon too, for goodness sakes. Rubbed himself dry with a towel, wiped the living organism. Might as well be patting myself dry under a toadstool. Another day. Bringing the meat home at night, all roseate and gleaming. Ready for the frying pan, I've got all the ingredients needed for a repast with a distant and demure host. Our daily quandary about food and the rent and bills to be paid. How they do whisper behind the lace of their aspiring opinions. The phantom watches from the wings, not guessing the hungers that must be stirred before disappointment can begin. See the tenor hunger for the heroine's convulsive kiss. I'll start by plugging in the Christmas lights. They were what made the whole thing go up in sparks the last time.
That was our last visitor, Hugh, clear back in December. It's summer, remember?
Next, I'll light the dictionary stand and look up a word. Let's see, synonyms for dalliance. Oh, let's see, dalliance, dabbling, delaying, dilly-dallying. Ooh, good one. You boys been dilly-dallying? No. Oh, here's another one, playing. Will this be the transformation of actors into the characters they play on stage?
Must you step out of character and make a big scene out of a minor inconvenience? The whole time I've been with this young man, I have been thinking of you, you see, as I do indeed several million times a day. I need your disapproval. Can't live without your churlish ways.
Oh, I'm just supposed to feign a gentle hurt. Is that it? Shall I continue my sub rosa commentary on the weather?
Well, the wind did come up fast, didn't it? Look, I am sorry I didn't come look for you in the car.
No, John. You and cars, a combustible mix, remember? Besides, I know you've been busy with your little friend. The weather was lovely at first, but then it got a little hirsute. Hirsute. But, do you know what hirsute means, sweetie?
Sure. It means hairy.
Ooh.
What that has to do with the weather, I can't tell you, but it means bearded or hairy or shaggy.
My dear, I should like to stick you full of barbed arrows like a pincushion. To think it's perfectly brilliant of John to have discovered you. Where do you lurk? I shall come down your burrow and chivvy you out like an old toad.
He's from Canada.
Oh, the North Country. Didn't you write a poem about Canada, John?
Yeah, sure. What was it?
Interesting people of Newfoundland. My favorite line is, worship of the chthonic powers may well happen there, but is seldom in evidence.
Oh, yes, we did love that line, didn't we, John?
Chthonic powers. More up your alley than mine.
Oh, what does that word mean, anyway? Suppose anyone out there knows? Might be key.
Can you please not turn these proceedings into one big joke?
It's the barometric pressure against my zinc-lined stomach that makes me come on all funny. Well, anyway, hello, you roustabouts and degenerates. Oh, how sweet the young man has brought you books, John. Just what you need. More books. Books bound in wild thyme and scented wild grasses. As the wrecking ball bursts through the wall with the bookshelves, John's eyes are fixed on me, wondering What is he gonna do this time? The bookshelves, the stereo, the teapot, all full of apprehension, wondering, what will he say? Might not the child and the pervert join hands?
Okay.
Oh. Let's set the scene. What comes next will surely be grand opera. The scene melts imperceptibly into the terrace on the Café Maman, where our friends have gathered to drink and discuss philosophy and meet John's new special friend. When suddenly, I make my grand appearance, mocking my former protector and pouring out peal after peal of deathless melody concerning the joys and advantages of life as a kept boy. Meanwhile, clutching a small velvet handbag in which the contour of a small revolver is clearly visible to the audience, for as they have discerned by this point, I am the symbol of the unexpectedness and exuberance of death.
Now, you. We're all friends here. Whatever it takes to get us out of this mess, I'm sure one of us has.
Calm down.
Right.
I'm not armed and dangerous. I'm just on the roll, gambling a guys. Where was I? Oh, yes. Act 2, Scene 1, line 93. Silly girls, your head's full of boys. Another one of that Boy Scout troop gone lost in the woods, John? How did you put it, John, so elegantly? Long ago was the then beginning to seem like now? As now is but the setting out on a new but still undefined way? Are we in uncharted waters once again, John? But I thought we had long abandoned this little picadillo of yours. Is he in the same mold? A boy with the extreme austerity and an almost empty mind, colliding with the lush, Rousseau-like foliage of its desire to communicate the incommunicable.
Where are you going?
What have you boys been doing? Let me guess.
Nothing.
Trying to glean John's intentions. Synthesizing fly speaks.
Nothing is
analyzing
happening.
the prosodic corpuscularity of John's style.
We were just
its
talking about his
transfusions into distressed bipolar mood life. Or
John.
finding what allegorical impulse of John's might have swallowed up this I to become fundamentally a second-order locus for registering the
no idea what you're
impact
saying.
of sensations. Have you gone where the synecdoche of Tessura makes a totality, however elusive, menominee of kenosis?
No.
As it breaks up
No.
into discontinuous
N-O.
fragments.
No.
May I remind you that every sentence everywhere ends with a period, doesn't it?
Look.
What? Saw this already? I showed it to you this morning before I went shopping. Can't you remember?
You're not excited?
I was very excited until I came home to find you with this tramp.
What is it?
Nothing.
No, this is not right. The Florida voters, by a whopping big majority, nearly 95%, instituted a legally binding gay marriage ban in the Florida Constitution just 2 years ago.
No. Look, see, the federal court, appeals court in Atlanta threw it out because the Florida ban obviously violates the U.S. Constitution.
How
So what?
So what? How can you be so cavalier? It means that effective January 8th, we can get married right here in Key West.
So
We won't have to move back to New England, where it's far too cold for me, a man of my advanced years.
what a pity this legal wrangling unfolded too late.
Why? What do you mean, too late?
What transpires in the public wheel is no longer of any consequence to me. Here's my verdict on this piece of ancient history.
No, don't do that. Don't walk away from this issue. You two aren't married.
Duh.
Well, that's it.
That's what?
It. I can't believe we never put the pieces together. We were married and yet we didn't see it.
What do you mean, it?
The whole enchilada, as it were.
The whole shoot match?
Yes.
That's ridiculous. That's such a cliche.
No, don't be so dismissive. It's at your peril. You run the risk of banishing it altogether.
Kicked off the set?
No. Dismissed from the cast. If you're not careful, if you ignore my sage counsel, they may end up having no memory of you whatsoever.
So typical. So de rigueur. You show up unannounced. You don't even tell our publicist, and you act like you're the messenger, not us. Classic role reversal. You come here backstage, all hot and huffy, purporting to tell us our business.
Backstage. That's not fair. I'm up here under the lights, same as you. I'm at risk. One of my partners in crime may not like me either, and say so in print.
Yeah, but you have a day job. You make lots of dough. But John and I, our whole lives are at stake here. If this show goes down in flames, we're out on the streets. Meanwhile, you can just pack up your bags and snuggle up in bed with your wife.
Wait. Let's hear him out. Maybe he's onto something.
You see it, don't you, John? You're starting to see why no one's ever been able to glean your secret.
Because it's not there on the page. That's been my secret, my fear. There's no secret. There's no there.
And you see why, don't you? You see it now, at last.
Because you and I have never really been connected. Our styles have not meshed.
That's hogwash. That's just our personal picadillos. It has no effect on our work.
But there's an obvious connection.
Says who?
Sure, I'm not totally dismissive of Marianne Moore's take on marriage. How men are monopolists of stars, garters, buttons, baubles, making them unfit to be guardians of a woman's happiness. But still,
There has never been any proven connection between the man and the work. James Joyce was a philanderer, so was John Updike, and yet their work was...
Okay, but my wife and I long identified these two elements in your work. Guys, most of John's lines were built on fairly pedestrian usage. John's key words are the simplest of words. The word you is the reader of his poem. The word it is the poem itself. When John is on, his poems describe what it is like to read the very poem the reader is reading. And as the reader experiences reading the poem, at the very moment that the reader is reading the poem, the you, the reader, is in the moment. Ashbery takes his reader where actors aspire to be on stage, in the now.
I'm not following. You lost me.
But that's just it. Because then, now and then, Ashbery leaves the now and his poems wax lyrical. They take wing. And that's where you come in, you. Another you makes an appearance. As your lines soar, you, the reader, takes off with you.
Well, strictly speaking, they're my lines, not you's.
Says who?
You two can work that out between the two of you. But you get what I'm saying, right?
Sort of.
You see, John, you're the craftsman. You have the work ethic. You have the technical knowledge. You can craft a sestina. You can forge a couplet. Most importantly, you have ambition. But all of that keeps you earthbound. It's only when you turn to you that your poems leave the now and go where no one has ever gone before.
Keep going.
But there's a big disconnect. It's like Hugh hops on a spaceship and leaves the here and now and is out there traveling among the stars. But the reader doesn't have the constellation finder because the poet is conflicted. Part of you, the Ashbery part, remains earthbound, judgmental, withdrawn, and withholding, while you is the galaxy. As a consequence, the reader is detached too. Can't figure out the secret.
Well, so what's the answer? Maybe because you're right. I am ambitious. I do want a legacy.
Get married.
Oh, please! We've never cared what society thinks of us. No true artist ever has.
But John does. In his bones. John's core being is conservative. That society's immature. He'll never truly be himself on the stage or on the page. John needs our acceptance.
No, it's more. If you and I married, if we made our marriage a sacrament, if we truly were faithful to one another, if I could trust you, wouldn't it free me to trust my lyricism? Not see it as dated or hopelessly sentimental, but as a place where I can safely go with conviction, give myself away to you, to the public, to the future. More than anything, all I've ever wanted is for the world and one dear sweet man to love me, to love all of me for who I truly am. But I've been too embarrassed to ever say that in print, much like Keats was too embarrassed to expose his true nature until it only came out in his letters, until near his death.
Still, you never know if some frat guy is going to get funny and tamper with the quadratic equation, causing apocalyptic SARS to break out in the streets. Barking dogs, skidding vehicles, and the whole consignment of ruthless consequences if we do ever get the courage to go out together, hand in hand, in public, which John just won't do, and even more importantly, on the written page. That's why we keep a team of experts on hand, always awake, alert, for the slightest thread of disorder on someone's pants. In spring, these incidents can double, quadruple even. Every little thing wants to be let out of its pants come April or May, and we have to test drive the final results before it's been gummed into the volume dark forces regulate. Someone then, and it's not gonna be me, must be constantly on duty for the poet's comet lines to speed to their rightful place in the heavens.
Well then, so where does that leave us? Well, me?
John, your fly is open as well.
And you know why it's open.
And why is that, John? Pray tell.
Because I'm too senile to remember to zip it after I take a whiz anymore.
That's your alibi, is it, John?
Oh, it's airtight and you know it.
Do I? Well, let me investigate further. The crack detective's nose is acute. I think I deduce the smell of sperm flushed down the toilet. The scream of supreme good fortune curved his absolute smile into a celestial scream.
This is going to be something of a challenge because I like to get up and over. Ashbery's greatest hits? Exclamation point? And this cover, what is this, some sort of a joke? Is this April Fool's?
No, it's December. John, we are starting to worry about you.
My life's work reduced to a top 10 list? You've reduced 1,000 pages of blood and sweat and tears to what? 60 pages? And look at it! The print, it's huge!
Only old people read books, John.
And half of this is the self-portrait.
You act like this is some huge kind of diss. It's not. Take T.S. Eliot. What's he add up to? Proof Rock, The Wasteland, and maybe that Because I Do Not Hope thing.
Ash Wednesday.
Yeah, and Nabokov KO'd that with his parody in Lolita. And how many memorable lines has Thomas Stern got? The woman come and go, speaking of Michelangelo, and maybe the opening bit about the cat in the fog, snatches from the wasteland. That thunder riff is kind of cool, and the mermaid's drowning. That's pretty moving.
What's your point?
I'm just saying, you don't need to get all huffy how we're throwing out your babies with the bathwater and all. In the life of any great poet, lightning only strikes 2, 3 times. Take Dylan. There's Like a Rolling Stone and Just Like a Woman, and then what do you have?
Do not go gentle into that good night.
Dylan wrote that? Okay, add that to the list too. But count your blessings. We are teeing up 10 poems in your bid for immortality.
And how did Daffy Duck in Hollywood get in here? I gather your people were fogged in with that one too. Why did you let that cat out of the bag?
You're right. Our polling group had no idea what the fuck you were trying to say with that one as well. But 32% snickered at several of the lines, and there were a handful of laugh out loud moments too. I mean, who wouldn't laugh at I scarce approach me mug's attenuated reflection in yon hubcap. So jaundiced, so decomfit are its lineaments. But you know, it was me. I was the one who fought with my boss to add Daffy Duck to the hopper because this actor, his name is Tom O'Bedlam, has a deadpan reading of the poem on YouTube. Here, let me show it to you.
Daffy Duck in Hollywood by John Ashbery. Something strange is creeping across me. La Celestina has only to warble the first few bars
For
of
more
I
than
Thought
a
About
year,
You.
Drayton thought I was
Something mellow
nuts.
from
Every night I went to bed and clicked this poem and fell asleep with it. I loved being immersed in it. It was as if I was in the sauna at the Four Seasons Hotel as I started my dreaming. It was the best sleeping pool, the best nightlight white noise machine I've ever had.
Have you memorized it?
No, I'm not an actor, I don't have that gift. But the poem is buried in my subconscious.
That's nice to hear. I like that.
John, I have no idea whatsoever Daffy Duck means. Where does it get its power to mesmerize?
Lower right-hand corner. Hard by the jock hitch, sand-trapped at skirts, the asparagus patch of algogalactic nuit blanche. Amadis is frozen
Marion.
in Ancestor Cloud into a midnight
Are you in there?
Parisian spree on the Tamigi with the bollocks.
A life's work. A life's work reduced to a top 10 list. I don't know.
It's marketing, John. It's salesmanship. Trust me, if you don't start developing a marketing strategy, your name is going to disappear from the charts altogether.
But what all of you, what everyone fails to grasp is that the angels have come to dominate my tale. My role as copyist, I've joined forces with the misshapen, misfit pieces that were meant to stay on the sidelines. As this mountain of data threatens us, one can hear the beginning of the lyric crash in which everything will be lost and pulverized, changed back into atoms, ready to resume new combinations, shapes, far wilder tendencies, seemingly from another planet, unimaginable in a word.
Earth to John! Earth to John! Come back, John! Come back! You have to understand we are losing our audience.
And would you believe that this word, this one single word, could possibly be our salvation?
What word? What word, John? John, you have to understand how much I have sacrificed searching everything for that word. My husband and I, we have tried, John. Believe me, we've tried. You have been our church.
My secret is
You've
is
been
no
our
longer an
Godhead.
English thing.
But I can't can't go on
Something
anymore
colorful
searching.
and full
We
of
need
interest, a
resolution.
chronicle
We have
play
run out
our
of time,
lives,
John, and we
with the
need
last
closure.
act
I
still in
can't
the dim
devote
future,
any
so that
more
we
of my
can't tell
interior
yet
life
whether
to
it's
you.
a comedy or a tragedy. We all
Please,
know it's
John.
crammed with action and the substance of
Please.
life. The time will soon come
My
when
marriage
audience
and my
actor
career
and
have
writer
all
and
turned to
director all mingle
ashes
together
at your
as
church.
one. As the
I'm
curtain
at a loss
descends,
of
the
what to
last
tell you
time to
anymore.
separate them from the half-empty theater.
I don't want to be cruel, but please stop. John, please stop. I beg you. I've never known what to make of you.
The apotheosis never attracted you, only those few moments in the next to last act where everything suddenly becomes momentarily clear to sink again into semi-obscurity before the final blaze which merely confirms the truth of what had been succinctly stated long before.
Shut up! Shut up! Stop talking, please. Turn your brain off, please.
You must understand. This has been all such a terrible disappointment, going on so long, without being truly heard.
You'll be okay, Johnny. Okay? Mommy's here. You can go in peace now. Go in peace. Wait. Wait. I see it now. I see your poems. Your poems are like buried messages leading toward a secret.
Yes, 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 they are.
Sort of Lord of the Ringy.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I haven't read Tolkien in such a long time.
The Peter Jackson movies are way better. So, here's the plan. Here's the strategy. We published the top 10, but that's a lost leader anyway. As I said, nobody under 70 buys books anymore. And then we get our parent company, Google, to develop an app, a computer game, laying out your poems over a landscape, a vast field, and the reader can click through the poem so we can make it really, really hard to solve the puzzles. It'll be this gigantic flowchart that the player has to negotiate to find the golden ring, to find the secret. We can have various levels of difficulty, we can employ various decision tree models, the personal potential trap, a hype cycle, the unimaginable model, or maybe a morphological box and scamper. And we can ratchet up the difficulty for the Korean kids with the Drexler Civet teen performance model. You can play Gollum, and as a buzz builder, we can award $1 million to the winner, and we can get the world's next top model for sex appeal.
The spectacle of something to be acted out and absorbed still hung in the air long after the last spectator had gone home to sleep. Did you say $1 million?
Yes, $1 million for the winner.
That's more money than I made my entire life.
You are a genius, John. The Ashbery app. Pure genius. My take on John's work is that his poetry employs style to show up our collective clinical narcissism. Not to condemn it so much, but to embrace it, to play it out, to run with it, show it in action. Let us look at our inner selves in the mirror, as it were, to see if that's who we really want to be, where we want to go. His poetry is an extended, lifelong effort to single-handedly enact emotional enabling legislation for the public benefit. He's trying to give us an escape hatch from the general predicament in which each of all of us narcissists are at once product and avatar.
Okay, who's playing Charlie Rose tonight?
Me? Is it me?
No. Lighting guy is a moron. You played host last night. It's my turn, I'm afraid. Be my guest.
No, sorry, go ahead.
Unless you rather.
No, go for it. Lightning.
So, I thought I would just cut to the chase. The play makes references throughout to getting. For example, it raises the question of whether my character Dean gets Ashbery's poems. The play, in its essence, keeps posing in different permutations the question of whether my character gets it. And that's where I'm heading. It is my target, the keyword it. It plays a role linguistically. It's almost a character. Akin to the word end in Hamlet. The play focused repeatedly on the keyword it. What is the it Dean is searching for? And a broader, more existential question hangs in the air.
Is the end in sight?
So, my question is, what's this play?
You forgot
What's
the
all
quote
about?
marks. You forgot the quote marks, Dean.
Come on, guys. Don't be shy. You're actors, after all.
Well, the truth is, actors are shy, except when we're drunk. That's why we like to be fed lines.
Okay, fine. Let's pretend we're back in the play playing critics.
That's your role, Dean, not ours.
Ever heard of improvisation?
Well, it's not really fair, is it? You're kind of blindsiding us with a Q&A. By contrast, my questions last night were about feelings and shit.
And that woman who just had to know who does your eyeliner.
But acting is risk. You've been writing this book for 14 months now. Surely you must have a take.
Why don't you go first, smarty pants?
Fine. Well, to me, it's fairly obvious.
Is it?
Sure. It's like we're wearing billboards.
Tell us more.
It's like those medieval pageants in the town square with characters named Obstinate, Pliable, Help, and Worldly Wisdom.
So, what quality am I portraying?
Well, it's obvious, isn't it?
Okay, let me take a shot at it. I'm playing the American poet John Ashbery.
Yes. You're playing Ashbery's command center. Your job in the poetic space is to manage form, process, tradition, communication, subject matter, abstraction, representation, concreteness, expression, repetition. Emotion, intellectuality, concreteness, plainness, voice, meaning, clarity. Difficulty, content, history, elegance, beauty, craft, simplicity, complexity, prosody, theme, sincerity, objectification, style, imagination, repetition, language, and realism.
You're giving him emotion, and imagination. Well, what does that leave me?
The surreal, the absurd, and religion.
That's it?
That's it. That's it. You're kidding. You don't see you had the lion's share all these years?
What? How's that? I'm not following.
It's analogous to space. Okay. Ashbery has responsibility for the concrete, the visible, the stars and the planets. I don't want to discount that. That's a big job. After all, the sun is what? 1,300,000 times larger than our Earth? And the star, UY Scuti, is 1,708 times larger than the sun? So, John has got a lot of stuff out there to cover. But you vast expanse of outer space.
Billions and billions.
If Christ's ascension was at the speed of light, he'd have left our galaxy on his way to heaven only 2 years ago. The nearest galaxy is 25,000 light years away. You avoided a whole lot of void all these years.
I like that. So, I have dominion over the infinite. So, I didn't always need to don a clown suit.
No. You could have put on a bishop's mitre.
I never knew I had that option.
Come on, anything goes.
No, now you tell me.
Better late
No,
than
never
never.
too late, man.
And I like your read. Our play demonstrates Nietzsche's theory of aesthetics.
Look, you boys aren't squabbling for a change. What a surprise you decided to play kissy face with each other tonight.
Yeah, good thing. I certainly don't want a repeat of last week's brouhaha. But you mentioned Nietzsche, Hugh. That was interesting. Play that one out for us.
Nietzsche delineates the strong artist as the equipoise of Apollo, on the rational side of the brain. Oh, that's you, John. And Dionysus, the crazy shit, which need I say more is my domain.
Where do I come in? What part of John's brain do I occupy?
Your marketing.
Oh, gee, thanks.
No, you're also Ashbery's legacy.
Yeah, I hadn't thought about that. But I like that read. At the close of the play, Marianne is a metaphor for our legacy. As she stands out there, all alone.
That's just the beginning, right? What I'm gathering, Dean, is you are supposed to represent John's critical abilities. Well, that drives because your contribution all along has just been diminishment. You go all negative on Hugh's crazy shit and cut bunches out of it. That's been your sole contribution to this enterprise.
But not one to be underestimated. Isn't one book-length poem of young girls with penises being bombarded by zeppelins enough for one career? I still don't know how you got that one past me.
But your read on this play, it's sort of Lit Crit 101. Doesn't it just scratch the surface?
Scratching the surface? What are you saying? I've given this a lot of thought.
I know, and all you have come up with is we're just different aspects of the poet John Ashbery's brain.
And what, pray tell, have you come up with, sweetie?
Well, it just seems odd to me that here in the 21st century, after Derrida and Barthes are dead and buried, your read takes no account whatsoever of the playwright.
Ooh. What does she have to do with it?
She, oh please, there's no need to get all snippy. Save that for backstage.
Why? She's a bitch. Pure and simple.
Just because he tried to get you fired?
For starters, yes.
The thing you never understood, Mike, is that you're playing a diva. It doesn't give you the God-given right to be an hour late for every single goddamn rehearsal.
What? De Niro and Day-Lewis stay in character off the set, and they hear nothing but plaudits and get to sleep with Oscars. But me? I am exhibited.
I just think, as a matter of courtesy or respect, I mean, let's face it, we wouldn't be here without him, that we should acknowledge here on stage the challenges, some of the torment the playwright has gone through to give birth to this work.
Oh, here we go.
Poor playwright. Oh, please. I knew he was funny on day one, on your first read-through, when I came by to fix the temperature gauge.
Oh, I forgot about that. Katie, you were awful.
Yeah.
Oh, talk about a diva in that rehearsal room.
It was 40 degrees in there.
Still, you were such a bitch, Katie. All you did was bitch. All morning, you wouldn't even read your lines. Bitch, 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 about the cold.
I mean, who can enunciate properly when their lips are blue?
But still, you practically ripped Mike a new one when he couldn't fix the friggin' thing. How long have you been working as a handyman in that apartment building here?
11 God-forsaken, horror-inducing years. And he's right, Marianne. You were such a bitch.
Hey.
Honey, it was love at first gripe.
But look at it, objectively. He is this novice playwright who has no idea what he wants to write about. He's just tired of being a boring tax lawyer.
No, I think he's an accountant. Doesn't he work for some big accounting firm?
And he's got some money lying around.
He makes a lot of money, believe me.
And he's got this crazy idea that playwriting is easy peasy. He figures since he got straight A's in econometrics at Wharton, writing plays will be no sweat.
Because he's an idiot.
I think it's kind of cute. You know, like he should be memorialized at the Art Museum of American Visionaries. It's got to be in Baltimore.
Visionaries? Crazy Dead Craig's Bachelors is more like it.
So he gets this goal, he sets this goal of winning 3 Pulitzer Prizes, but has no topics, but fortuitously, it turns out, has spent a good deal of time reading Ashbery's poetry. I mean, who does that? You do have to give him some credit for that. And while he's soaking in the tub one night, bingo. I don't know what to write a play about, and I don't know what Ashbery's poems are about, and nobody else does either. So I can blend the two notions into something that might be sort of interesting.
You have to give him credit. He must be sort of an intellectual to link those 2 points.
But then he writes this
Worthless piece of crap.
and pays some actors to workshop the play.
Boring.
Oh my God, yes, you fell asleep.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did.
No, I might have dozed off just for a sec. I did not fall asleep.
You were snoring.
That's nonsense.
Well, I wish I could have gotten in 40 winks at the workshop. I really needed the role. My cat was down to eating Rice Krispies. He was paying me $100 for the gig, so...
You got paid? The workshop? Fuck, he's a fool.
And you remember how Mike and I got into it over the thermos?
That was the best. You grabbed Hugh's keys dangling from his waist. How many were there?
43. I had to wear 43 keys. Can you friggin' believe that? 1 for the front door, 1 for the rec room where you all were doing the workshop, 1 for the mailbox. I have no idea what the other 40 afford me access to. I never found out what was behind door 4 to 43.
So Katie takes all your keys in both her hands, they're hanging down from your belt, and yells at you, "You got all these friggin' keys and you don't even know how to turn on the thermostat! Come on, dear, get on with it!"
And I will always remember Mike's rejoinder. Keep your hands to yourself, girl. You are grappling with numismatics, only jitterbugs in cyberspace conjugate. They're big as all outdoors.
Yes, I knew I had the playwright right there. I was the answer to his dreams. I looked him right in the eye. I knew he was my meal ticket out. What with that little blue breast pocket handkerchief in that Bill Blass brown suit.
But don't you think that that's an interesting story?